truth. We honor the journey from broken to new. Healing is freedom. Let your soul rise high with Venita Queen Abrams by your side. You'll learn how to fly from pain to purpose. Let your story be told. You see, this is your moment. Break free and be bold. This is the Healing is Freedom podcast with Venita Queen Abrams. And remember, healing isn't just a destination. It's a lifestyle. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Venita Queen Abrams, where healing is freedom. Welcome to a place where hearts are mended, where truth is spoken and chains are broken. This is your space. This is your time. Let's heal together. Healing is freedom. Let your soul rise high with Venita Queen Abrams right by your side. You'll learn how to fly from pain to purpose. Let your story be told. This is your moment. Break free, be bold. From trauma to triumph, from silence to sound. This is the sacred ground where healing is found. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to my podcast, Healing is Freedom. I am your host, Venita Queen Abrams. This episode, oh my God, we got some eye candy on this show. And we're going to be talking about relationships. How did it break you? How did it make you? How did it heal you? You know what? Let me calm down. I should have had my drink, my water. Oh, I do. Ladies and gentlemen, with nothing else further to say, I would like to introduce today my play son, Tjay Harper. Y'all give it up for TJ. How you doing, TJ?
I'm doing well. Thank you for that introduction.
You are welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me, your spiritual mother. But we're gonna really, you know what? Let's not talk about mothers and all that right now. We're talking about relationships. We're about to do a deep dive into what done happened to you, what done happened to me, what has been happening in the community of man and woman and all other sorts of things as it pertains to what? Relationships. How you doing? So before we get started, I want to actually talk to them about who you are, okay? Tjay Harper is a Southside Chicago native who proudly carries his city on his back, a champion in his own lane, a legend in his own right. TJ is an artist, an actor, of which performed in a play that I wrote called God is All Up and Caught Up. All the ladies loved him, you guys. And oh my God, it was a phenomenal play. You've done 2 plays with me. Right. Oh my God, yes, this is, like I say, we've been riding on that artistry for a long, long time. Since 2010, yeah? 2010, when my house caught fire. Yep. And I still wanted to put on a play. Okay, anyway, let's stay focused, stay focused. Okay, anyway, he's an excellent actor and singer. He doesn't have singing on here, but he can sing his tail off. Songwriter, mentor, and business owner. Got shirts. Did you wear one of your shirts?
I got on one under here. It may be under here.
Oh, okay. Well, anywho, you guys, it's hard to stick to the script because I know him, all right? So he's also a business owner. He delivers introspective, uplifting, and emotionally rich music. Tracks like Self-Love. You are going to be singing.
I will be performing Self-Love.
You gonna take your shirt off like you did one day?
I'm rapping.
Okay. Okay, he's rapping. So no, he won't take off his shirt today. And Black, one of his tracks is Self-Love. My Black is Beautiful shows his mission to create music with a message, accountability, and integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together again for Tjay Harper.
Thank you so much.
Oh, TJ.
Yes.
We're going to talk about, what's the name of it? The breakup.
The breakup.
Almost,
Broke.
but didn't break
me.
me. Okay. I want us to just start with this here. We also want to talk about the tools that you've used. I know we've talked about several of your relationships. So I'm going to I want to know your business today.
That's okay.
I'm just saying. So I want you to be very, very, transparent. And I'm going to share
Absolutely.
some as well. And audience, if you're listening and you want to chat and you got some questions for us, by all means, subscribe to Venita Queen Abrams Healing is Freedom Podcast. If you are on Facebook, you can chat, we can see it, and we'll try to give you a very good answer to help you through relationships. Yeah? We all have dealt with them. So, TJ, tell me about a relationship that almost broke you.
Well, first, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. So I guess we just gonna have to get right into it. A relationship that nearly broke me, but didn't break me, would probably be the one that I had probably about 7 years ago.
Okay.
7 years ago, and couldn't see those telltale signs of what was on the verge of happening, and I was on the precipice of I was smitten. Nose was just extremely
When you
wide
say
open.
smitten, what you talking about? You got to use the words.
I
know.
I was smitten. Like you know how there's that saying, in our community. You all have heard it from a woman's perspective. We all have heard it from a man's perspective, but it's never love somebody more than they love you. So we've both heard that on both sides. Right. Always get somebody that love you more than you love them.
But wait a minute. I thought that's what a woman supposed to do.
No, we've been told that on both sides.
Someone told you that?
Absolutely. Someone told me
that's the first I've heard of that. But go on.
So here's the thing. Game just doesn't stop at a woman.
We don't play games, TJ.
Right. No. I'm talking about the information and how you live your life.
Okay.
So
I got you.
We live in a commune where a lot of information is passed off, right? We pick up certain adages and idioms and certain hood proverbs. So we get certain information and we pick up on game, as we call it, like the game. So I was always taught to make sure she love you a little bit more than you love her. But in this particular moment, I was loving her more than she was loving me.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think that was the right way of being. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah. So I was smitten. I couldn't see what I needed to see, and I remember the end of it. And I was communicating with a friend. We got those little friends that somehow were more than friends, but in this space we were just friends, right?
Friends like with benefits?
Prior, years ago. Okay. Years ago, probably about 7 years before the relationship, but we were very cool. So I remember having a conversation with her, and I remember it like it was yesterday. She said, TJ, I can tell you what you need to do, but I can't tell you how you need to do it. And I was like, wait, that was cold. Like,
I can tell you what you need to do,
but I can't tell you how you need to do it.
Okay.
So when she told me that, it sat with me, it resonated. So I was like, wow. And I knew in that moment, whatever was happening to me, it was breaking me. Like that attachment, right? So I think ultimately what it was us disconnecting. And sometimes when we're, that person may be disconnecting, but we still want to keep the connection ongoing. It's just like,
so when you say, because you talking very good stuff, but I just want to understand it clearly. So when you say in a relationship, when you start disconnecting, that means that now you don't want the relationship, or you stop communicating, or
more so it was on her and she was disconnected. But me being as open as I still wanted the connection and the commitment, and I was still, trying to fight for it.
So how does that look when someone starts disconnecting?
It's not. It's like they're numb and they're cold, and it's almost like you're seeing the opposite of a person.
So it's not the one you met.
It's night and day.
Okay,
it's night and day. You go for someone being all up on you to I don't even want to be by you. It's like it's night and day, and you like, wait a minute, like you When you was loving my dirty drawers
Now,
when we first met, and now all of a sudden, you know, it's just like, keep it over there. I don't want that energy. So,
and you know what? That's when, and not to, before you continue on, that's when the pain starts. Because if I'm all in and all of a sudden with no warning, didn't do anything wrong, now it's this cold shoulder and I'm not, don't touch, back up. Ooh.
But I was doing things wrong. And sometimes you don't know until afterwards, right? So what I learned when it comes to the opposite sex, who I love so much.
What was you doing wrong? That's what I want to know.
Keeping your word is important. When you don't keep your word to the woman that you love, so you have to look at it like credit, right? If you're supposed to pay this bill by a certain time, then you absolutely need to pay that bill. When you don't do that, you don't keep your word, you're losing your credit worthiness with the person that you love.
You're losing trust.
You're losing trust, right? Right. So over time, I'm losing that, right? So it's just like small.
So you be lying to her?
Wait. No. So small inquiry here, small inquiry there. Oh, now it's a big one. Now it's like the credit score is really dropping because you said you were going to pay this on time and now you're not. You're falling behind on your promises. So what I learned is ultimately when dealing with women, keep your commitment to your commitment. If you say you have them, then you need to have them. If you say you're going to do this, if you can't absolutely create a justifiable reason why you can't do it, that would definitely be understood, then it's just like you need to keep the commitment to the commitment. So over time, I'm gonna do this and I didn't do that. Oh, I'm gonna do this and I waited too long. And sometimes in relationships, one thing that we don't want, whether we admit to it or not, is delayed gratification.
That's
like that's like we want things to be instantaneous, right. And sometimes even no. Right. You know, like no sometimes can like crush our ego. Like that can be one of the biggest things to say, you know what? Why are you rejecting me? Like I'm the person you like. You know, one of the reasons why I told you is because you say yes to me how I like it. But now you saying no. I don't like that. You know, so that can cause us, it can start us to regress. You know, or to completely want to disconnect. So we started disconnecting. Like we both had our moments. There was things that she was dishonest about. There was things that I wasn't, you know, forthcoming about. But ultimately what it was is, and this is, you know, personal, I found that she was dishonest about an abortion. And it wasn't a child with me.
So why are you tripping if it wasn't a child with you though?
Because she lied about the story that she told me. So here's the thing, right? We get a place together. Okay. My place. Move her and her son in. Prior to us moving in with each other, you know how spirit can just tell you things like you have a spirit of discernment.
You know, women do got that intuition.
But I'm very, very intuitive. So I asked her right before we got the place, I said, yo, is it just anything you're not telling me? You know, is there anything I need to know? It's like, because moving in with someone is a pretty big deal.
It's huge.
It's huge, right?
Yeah.
So somehow my mind just goes to an abortion. I was like, did you only have one abortion? And she was like, yes, I only had one abortion. I was like, was it the one that you told me when you was a teenager? And she was there, yeah, absolutely. It was that one. So we move in, you know, it's like, kind of like my stuff is yours, your stuff is mine. So she has like bags. And I was like, okay, so you have book bags. It says Morris College on it. Like, do you want this? She was like, no, you can toss it, get rid of it. So I was like, okay, cool. Before I toss it, see if it's some stuff that you absolutely need in here. Like it may be documents. So I think I found a diploma. And then she's like, oh, I need that. So I was like, okay, cool. And next, I found some papers. And on these papers, it said she had an abortion 2 years before we got together. So now I'm like, why you lie? Like, why are you dishonest about something that you didn't have to hide from me? Right.
So that makes you think, what else are you lying about?
Exactly.
Got you.
So in comes
doubt,
just trials,
dishonesty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
don't trust you so much.
So wait, let me ask you a question. So you still moved her in with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was tough though.
Yeah, but you still, and I'm saying this for a reason, because the breakup when we're talking about breakups and breaking us and through relationships, when we see flags and we continue to move forward, knowing that we got that trust has been kind of snatched now, you know, how do we come back from that? Because I mean, how do we allow ourselves not to keep moving on into a situation and scenario when we see flags?
In my opinion, it takes divine understanding.
What do you mean? Unpack
You
that.
have to have some of the qualities that God has. You have to be able to forgive, show grace, give mercy. So one of my favorite things that I've came up with was, we're kind of battling divinity versus humanity, right? So it's the ability to do all the things that Jesus did, right? Show people grace while somebody is judging, defend them and say, hey, you without sin cast the first stone. You know, so we never put ourselves in a position to truly be divine. Sometimes like people always want to talk about how great God is, all the things that Jesus did, but when it's their time to be divine and go to divinity, so it's easy to be human. It's hard to be divine. It's extremely hard for people to be divine. So one of the things that I learned is, you're not going to get the grace that your mother, your parents, or your grandma, your family may give you from the person that you love, especially when they're upset with you.
That's right. You got that.
It's like, because they view you,
they forget
as they know you're the enemy now.
Right. They don't even like you like they love. They're not going to show you. So real quick, in my classroom, I ask my children, can you like somebody and not love them? And can you love someone and not like them? They were like, Miss Queen, what you talking? I mean, I'm serious. Can you? And that's an example.
With your kids, you can. But with your parents, you can.
But you don't think with somebody like a significant other? I think
it's if you've been through it, it's possible. I would never say it's impossible. If you personally experienced it, I cut them off. You blocked you. I cut them off. Everybody that knows me, they be like, you cold. Be like, that's not cold. It's protection. Like, because exactly. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart.
That's right. That's right.
So where I go with it is, I have to protect my self-interest, right? Self-preservation is the first law of nature. If I don't protect myself, who's going to protect me?
Who's going to protect you?
So why would I lend myself, even if we had all these trials in the relationship, right? And you weren't even able to forgive me. It was like, I was willing to forgive you and show this grace, but you showed me that you weren't divine, you know?
So how long did this relationship last?
Now I got to do timelines. Maybe almost 2 years.
So you went in and let's pause for a second and thank you for being transparent and you know, just being real and open. I appreciate that. I always say that this is a space where you can feel like you're safe, you know.
Always do.
And so the whole world is listening, but you're still safe with me. You know,
that.
I just want to let you know that. I didn't tell it, you're telling it. You know, it's a good thing. All right. But no, here's the thing with that. 2 years going in, not trusting. And
no. We were in the relationship by the time we got the place together.
So
that wasn't at the beginning.
Right. So how long did you stay after the distrust started? Let's call it after the breaking started. That's what I want.
It would have been from April to September. So it was the end of the relationship. Yep.
And that's when things started breaking and trembling down because you couldn't regain that trust again. And I'm gonna ask people out there, how long does it take for us to, if we ever do, for us to really, really trust again? That's deep.
It could take years, decades.
Some people never, ever trust. You know what I said? Okay, I'll go into that later. Another question I have for you. So after you got finished with that relationship, because it had damaged you, it destroyed your trust within her.
A little bit.
Right. There was some brokenness.
That wasn't what destroyed the relationship, is that when we were at the end and she wanted to go her separate ways, she said, okay, cool. I'm thinking about, getting a place. And she wanted to be my neighbor, like live right above me. And I was like, knock it off. Like, nah. That is not happening.
That's crazy.
Like, listen,
you ain't living above me.
You think I'm about to hit a bed tweaking over top of me. I said, you got me all the way messed up. I said, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the south side because we was in the west suburb. We was in Maywood. So I was like, nah, this not even my area. Like, I don't even feel at home out here. So nah, I was on the next thing. I said, you got this place. I said, I go back. Like, we did a little exchange with the property manager and had things switched over, but I was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm like, you won. You got it.
So, okay. So now after that, how long did it take you to get into another relationship? Did the healing process start after that?
It took me 4 years.
So what are some of the tools you use? Because, and if you can help me with this, because everyone's perspective is different and I am interviewing you. When you're in a relationship that started, and I'm not saying, okay, what did you do? And what did you, at the end of the day, trust was broken.
Yes.
Period. Okay. And I'm sure on her, and because there's always three sides to a story, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's her story, your story, and then it's always the truth. We get that. But just from your perspective, and this is safe to say, from your perspective, how long does it take a person to go through that healing process before they get into someone else? And we downstairs talking about this. That's why I'm pulling in.
And I'm going to bring up what I said.
That's why I'm bringing it in. Because me personally, and I'm just going to revisit what we were talking about downstairs. Me personally, and I'll share my relationship situation in a minute, but it takes me a while before I allow myself to trust again, to get back into it again. I mean, because I gotta go through a form of healing.
Right.
I gotta regroup, and a lot of, I hear you saying it was just words, but and some of my story. I've been abused in my relationship.
Right.
I've been cheated on in my relationship. Been mentally abused and sexually abused in my relationships, right? So it took me some time. I'll be honest with you. It took me a long time. And even when I would enter in other relationships, I would take that pain into that relationship. And I would make decisions based on the hurt that the other guy had done. So this new guy probably didn't do anything to me, but now I'm not going to trust him because the one before him lied to me and I caught him cheating. So now I'm thinking, I'm looking around, looking at, see who he's looking at, because now I know he's going to look at this other woman because the one before him did the same thing, right? So I know, and I'm bringing it up because downstairs we was just talking about it.
Yeah.
Give me your view on being healed before you walk into another relationship.
Well, some of the tools that I used before I ventured off into another relationship was I created a day specifically for me.
I like that.
So I was born on a Sunday. So the day that I chose was Sunday, and I called it Sacred Sunday.
Oh, I like that.
So that was a day, and it had
clock that T, y'all. Clock
listen.
Clock that T. Create a day for me. Create a day for you. I like that.
Yeah. So it wasn't for any religious purposes. It was strictly for me to develop a level of self-awareness. So I did something what a lot of people may know and some may not know. It's called shadow work. So I went deep, like really deep into.
You say shadow work?
Shadow work.
Okay.
So I did a lot of unpacking trauma, like whether it was my mother, my father, previous relationships, situationships. And I always tell people we got to call situationships exactly what they are. They're relationships. They were just shorter than we anticipated, and we didn't give it a title. It's like it's a relationship. You got to be, because you gave a part of you. So that's a relationship, right? So what I did was I allowed myself to take time. I went on a celibacy journey. So I was like, okay, cool. I can't incorporate any woman in this process. So I took that time to myself. I had a day, and then that day became weekly. So it was me intentionally putting aside time to invest in me. Like not just things that I need to work on, but develop a skill. Okay, cool. this is a day that you take and you serve as well. Who haven't you spoken to? Who haven't you reached out to in years?
And you do that, let me pause, because you will reach out to me when you go through this. I've actually witnessed you doing your sabbaticals. I've noticed you're coming, you talk to me. This is how I deemed you. You deem me as your spiritual mom. You actually unpack those things, and I will give you nuggets and tools to move forward. But the biggest
queen of gems, though. let's not hold this off.
Thank you. But what I've noticed though, each time, and it's been twice, you come up with this masterpiece of something. The first time you went on the journey of health and fitness.
Oh yeah.
I remember you came. I know you was so. I mean, like, I don't know if it's a picture we can show. No,
we probably can.
But right, Google him, y'all. Right. So look at my son. But when you worked on yourself, you took it to a whole nother level. And I was like, wow. I mean, not only were you working on yourself, though, you became this ambassador for health and wellness.
And healing.
Yes. Right. And so I was like, he even told me about that old nasty green drink that helped me lose about 40 pounds,
First of all, that's the holy grail of weight loss right there.
I mean, actually, I love it now. I love it. But it was like you were so zoned into not only yourself, but you was serving others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through your sabbatical. And then the other sabbatical, which is the most recent one, I noticed how you, and you don't even know I noticed this, I was waiting to bring this up here, is that you came up with this shirt company.
Oh yeah.
The entrepreneur shirt. And you went all in with it, videos. And not only that, I think you started doing the creation with the Instagram, the content.
Yeah.
That was what you was when you was in the relationship, but it got higher.
No, that was before the relationship.
Oh, that was before. Yeah. Okay. But did you go back to it?
So when I started, that was like 2021, 2022. Her and I met towards the end of 2022, the last relationship. So her and I met towards the end of 2022, but I had already had that business idea and that concept. So I had got my EIN number. I knew what my LLC was going to be. I had all of that ready. She kind of like ignited me. She helped me with my website. She helped me with the print on demand t-shirts. So she knew she had the missing pieces. And I didn't know she had the missing pieces until like months later into our relationship. And it was like, oh, you did this and you did that. She was like, yeah, I can. I was like, let's do it.
Oh, so I thought it came after the relationship.
No, it came while I was in the relationship.
Okay. Yeah. So my point we'll scratch that part right there. But the before though, that health and wellness thing came after that relationship.
No, that was before. So it's a timeline.
Right.
So you're thinking two different relationships. The health and wellness came after my kid's mother.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That was 2015.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the one I say. So scratch this one here. What I'm saying is, when you say you gave yourself one day, that's what made me think of that. And then it went from one day to a week to a health and wellness environment for not just supporting your health and wellness, but to help everyone else. And I'm saying this is because when you give yourself a moment out of whatever it is you just came out of, to reflect on you've grown from that relationship. No, it didn't break you. It made you. It made you stronger. Amen. It made you wiser. It made you look at yourself. Like you said, I like how you said, I'm going to call it a deep dive, but you called it something else. When you
introspective.
No, you said something else. You said you did a shadow.
Oh, shadow work. Okay.
You did shadow work. And so I call it a deep dive, but I think it's the same.
Yeah.
And I like how you said when you don't have any interruptions. With a relationship, there's a lot of interruptions. Especially as a man, as a man, your interruption is a little bit different than mine, but yield the same because we're giving ourselves.
Absolutely.
We receive it and we give it, we receive it and we give it. And with brokenness at times, distrust, honesty, you mentioned some of those things. So I just want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
And even those that are listening, if you're in a relationship right now and there's some things that you are going through in your relationship at this moment, guess what? Take a moment for yourself.
Absolutely.
Take some time because, they used to always tell us this back, like you said, those hood statements. It's like when you lay with a woman or lay with hood proverbs. When you lay with a woman or lay with a man, it goes both ways. So we're not talking. It's the man, it's the woman. You take their spirits on. Right? You all are exchanging all of the energy,
fluidity,
the spirit,
and all of that.
All of that, right? So once you've done with that, you know, I've also heard one of the statements, the hood, what you call it?
Hood proverbs.
The hood proverbs. In order to get off one man, get underneath another one. I mean, we didn't heard all of that. But the best thing in the world, I believe, to heal from brokenness is to get involved with yourself, prayer, find another. Like right now, you know, I'll share mine a little later. I'm waiting. But just at the end of the day, you really and truly have to find some tools to develop you so you can be ready for your next step.
Absolutely.
Agreed?
Absolutely. 100%.
Want to ask more on that?
Yeah. So a few more things that I did was get back into fitness, right? That was another thing that helped me too. And as I was telling you, having a conversation with the food, I started studying the food that I was eating. So telling you the properties of kale or spinach and how it has magnesium and phosphate and calcium and potassium and vitamin D and vitamin C and all these things. And when you start taking that deep dive, and I said, ask the food before you eat it, not just pray over it, but ask it, is this good for my body? Is it good for me to eat?
That's not fair. That's not fair.
No.
Because I know I should. If I ask, I'll be skinny. I mean, if I go and say, hey, don't
right. Is it good?
What's up, baby? How you doing?
But you know though, those refined carbs though. Yeah, that's
you know what? So never mind. Come here.
And that's one of the things that I had to do because to me it was. I went through this stage where I was a fitness trainer and I would train women and I would ask them this. I said, would you cheat on your husband? And they said, no. I said, so why would you cheat on your diet? Like make the correlation of being faithful to what you put in your body before what he does to your body.
Can we get off this conversation? Because I'm not there no more yet right now. I'm working on that. You got me feeling like I'm violent. Like I done cheated on some kale. You know what I mean?
Lastly, I built a closer relationship with God. So it's sometimes we're trying to substitute God. And we're looking, it's like you can't serve two masters, right? So it's like sometimes you try to put a woman in the place of God. You know, so you're trying to put sex in the place of God. And it's just like you really got to deal with those demons. And then how are you asking somebody else to show up for you and you haven't showed up for yourself?
Y'all heard that?
And that's the thing. Everybody is like, oh, deal with this. This is just the way I am. You don't have to be like that.
No, you don't.
You know, like one thing that is constant is change. That's inevitable. But evolution always persists. So at the end of the day, it's just like you have to make up your mind and know that, hey, I'm going to do the work before I ask somebody else to commit to me. So that was my journey before I ventured into the next relationship.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Like, who is your puppet master? Like who? And you know what's so deep about love is when you're not healed, even when you're healed, it feels good. And it's funny you're talking about food because I've always said that the belly holds two purposes: to fulfill you and to entice you. You know, when you are having sexual intercourse, that's the way, that's enticing. That's that same like feeling that you get. And when you got your favorite food, I mean your favorite food.
Pizza
Baby, I mean, I don't even have to have sex if I got my favorite food.
Right. And a good show, too.
And a good show. I don't have to have no show with my favorite food. I mean, I don't want nobody calling me.
Right.
But you said something that was powerful. God supersedes it all.
Yeah, amen.
He does. When you got God, you can say you can fast from your favorite food because you can't do it by yourself. You got to have the power of God. So that's a powerful tool.
Lean not on your own understanding.
But now, come on.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me,
that's true.
It was important for me not to just do it the way I wanted to do it, but the way God saw fit. So like I should have started with God first, but it's just like the last shall be first. So God still is first.
Right.
You know?
And he knows your heart. God knows your heart.
God still, because at the end of the day, like I always say, it's not a day if I don't say thank you 7 times. Like if I don't find something to be grateful for, right? And my new philosophy has been like for the last year, I wake up positive, like with a positive attitude, servitude, and a heart full of gratitude. So it's just like my goal is to be grateful for every encounter, to serve people at the highest, the way Jesus did. You know what I'm saying? And be positive about it. Like, because some people will serve you with an attitude. You ever went to an establishment and he's like, I mean, the food is good, but the attitudes and the customer service is unnecessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely unnecessary. So for me, I just want people to know that like God is amongst them. Like they're having an experience and they see God as like, okay, cool. There's somebody that's not gonna hurt me. Like somebody's gonna show up and protect me. Like just the other day, last week I was at work and like everybody's like at work is calling me a hero. And it's like, you're a hero. You're a hero. I was like, no, I just did what anyone else would have did. So I was outside security, tending to a parking issue, and a young lady started screaming. And she's like, she's having a seizure. She's having a seizure. Stop the car. Stop the car. So the car is running, like driving on the lawn of the work establishment. And we're still like, you're in a daze. Like somebody's saying it, but it's like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? And it was like, she's having a seizure. Stop the car. Stop the car. So as it's driving 2 miles per hour over the line, like one of the security guards, he gets in front and he stopped the car. And it's just like, I run up to it and she's unresponsive. And I'm like, ma'am, are you okay? Nothing. I was like, can you unlock the doors? Nothing. I said, I'm gonna have to break the window. So I punched the window, glass shatters, right? And this is what adrenaline is in you. What will happen? She's still unresponsive, unbuckle her, immediately pull her out, start administering CPR, and she starts coming to. Right. And police is now running up because we're like right across the street from the hospital.
You are a hero.
Right. But I wasn't looking at it that way because I was like, this is what we're supposed to do, especially if I'm trained.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is what we're supposed to do. You know, but I called myself, you know, going to check on the woman and making sure that she was good. And, you know, she kind of like downplayed the seizures. And she was like, well, you know, seizures are nothing more than a particular nerve not connecting. And I was like, she was like, they're not dangerous. And I say, anything that puts you in a position to take your life or anybody else's life is pretty dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
So I was like, I mean, trust that God, you know, had a lot to do with this ordeal. And I was at the right place at the right time.
To God be the glory.
Amen.
So I'm gonna go into a couple of things. Have you ever cheated on a woman?
No.
Really? So they say all men cheat, though.
Let me tell you. Can I give you the background to why? Can I give you the background to why, though?
Go ahead.
When I was young, a movie came out.
Wait, I'm sorry. You're going to give me a background to why all men cheat?
No, I'm going to give you a background to why I decided not to cheat.
So you've never cheated?
Never cheated.
I don't believe you, Harper.
Not in a relationship.
I don't believe. I'm sorry.
All right, so
you from a young boy up to an older man.
Relationship, it's a sweep. I'm good. Situationship, because there was no true commitment.
There you go.
It may be a little cloudy.
Go ahead. You know what?
So listen, but this is the movie relationship why that made me look at it a little bit different. When I was young, I seen a movie that still haunts me to this day.
What's that?
It's like, and it wasn't a horror, it was a drama.
Okay.
A thin line between love and hate. Martin Lawrence and Lynn Whitfield.
When she was about to kill him.
Man, listen, I said, that would have happened if I never in the song, the sweetest woman in the world could be the meanest. If you treated her, I said, not cool. I'm like, I don't want them type of problems. I said, listen, if all I got to do is keep it in my pants, that's what I'm going to do. Like, out of respect. I said, listen, I don't want you mad in the middle of the night. I don't want a knife in my back. I don't want to get shot. I don't want none of that.
So you was traumatized every time you was about to can't do it. They saw Lynn Whitfield.
Yeah, Lynn Whitfield messed me up.
Well, you know, this is why I brought that up. I want to go in. So as you guys know, I am an author of Inside Out: A Queen's Journey. This is my book here. And I talk about a relationship I had, and we just gonna call him. Well, no, in the book, I call him, and I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna make sure I say it the correct way. His name was JB Slick with the real good.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his name. And I love this man. I did. You know, I'm gonna get a close. I'm share. I want to share this, you guys. I wish I had like some soft music behind this.
Dim the lights.
But you all, I love JB Slick with the, you know what? This man here, when I tell you, he cheated so deeply. Okay, let me tell you about it. Okay, this is the book, y'all, but I was in love. Really interesting. He was a Libra too. I said I'll never date another Libra. So my first husband was a Libra. My second husband was a Libra. And JB Slick was a Libra, and my son is a Libra. All the men, right? But this guy here,
and my kids are Libras.
Oh Jesus, well, they kids. But this guy here was so smooth, and that's what I want to talk about. It broke me.
Wow,
it broke me. I'm not gonna lie. That play. You know who I'm talking about. The play. God is all up and caught up down at the Hair Washing Culture Center. We had 1,000 folks there, right? He helped me with that play.
It was 5,000. 5,000.
No, it was 1,000. It only seat 998 people.
Oh, okay.
But anywho, JB Slick was so smooth. When he first met me, he wanted to help me do everything. And when I say everything, what you need, Queen, I got you. And was good at it too. He was good at promotion and advertisement and showed me some things. Very smooth. Oh, he was so slick. Very smooth on the with computers. And so everything I needed to market that play, that man helped me with just about everything. And while he was helping me, okay? Nice. I mean, it was, oh, you're so beautiful. You know, women love all that wonderful stuff. And at that time, back in that day, I wasn't where I wasn't as solid with my confidence and feeling very, it showed, but I wasn't so he was really like very supportive in everything I did. This guy here messed around with the dancer in the play. You know what I'm talking about? The dancer, the one who danced in the play.
You know, I was trying to mind my business.
I know, but I'm just saying, you know who I'm talking about. He messed around, and I didn't know. I gave him my car to go get her, to bring her to my house so we can practice for the play. Right. She ended up at his house.
That's what we call the alley-oop. You gave him the alley-oop.
The alley-oop.
You gave him the assist. You gave him the
in my
assist.
mind, I'm thinking my man wouldn't do anything like that to me.
The man you knew him to be, but later found out he wasn't.
Right. Nearly broke. Not only that, another time we had all those vendors there. I had all those vendors there. He was messing around with one of the vendors. And the way I found out, they would actually call me to ask me about him. I'm like, what? They were in this one time, this last scenario, one of the women that he was dating, he had to stay at my house for a week for one. I won't go into why. The lady called, and I thought he was at work. She calls my phone and she go, "Hi, your number is in my man's phone." And in the background, I hear him going, "Oh," he's snoring up a storm. And I know that snore. Oh, and so I said, "Excuse me, where do you know him from?" I said, "What are you saying? I'm his woman."
You had a Barbara and Shirley moment.
Baby, she was on the phone asking me who I was, and I thought he was staying with me for a week. He's in the bed with her. He's like, I wonder what he'd be at work during the week. I said, "Ma'am."
His stamina was crazy.
Oh, he was slick. He was smooth. So and that damaged me. It made me, when I say to trust a man, after that, every time if I got into a relationship, I'm like, okay, I know he's messing with her. If he's if my friend, that's why I wouldn't bring no women around nobody I was with, because that really damaged me into a great. And so I'm healed from it now. And every now and then something you said downstairs, it might trigger me to say, what this next? But I'm asking God right now that I don't want to bring that old baggage into any type of new relationships. So and some of the tools I use is to write about it. This writing is the main tool. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's another tool.
I write my hurt away.
Yeah.
I love to say that. I write my hurt away.
I did it in music. That was how I did it, right?
I love that.
I did it in music. I journaled. So I did it with prayer. I would just write new prayers too. Like certain books I would read would encourage me. So it's like, okay, that's great to add to prayer.
And talking it out.
Yeah.
A community of people that you can trust.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's what I remember.
That helps you. Brotherhood and
Yeah.
sisterhood
Yes.
absolutely helps you.
Yes. I don't know
But
how
it's
I
with
got
people
through
that
it.
you can absolutely trust. Like you said, there's certain people you can't bring your man
You bet
around.
not.
You know,
You
but
bet
it's just
not.
like my circle is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm pretty mindful and I'm always taking inventory to make sure everybody is accountable. And because one, I hold myself accountable.
That's right.
So right, I think there's a certain level of integrity that your friends need to have, especially if you have integrity.
That's right.
So it's just
That's
like you
right.
have to make sure who you running with actually
right.
got you.
Mm.
If they don't actually have, like, at your lowest, you
don't
know
need
that they gonna come together and pray. Hey, yeah, we need to pray over her and make sure everything is good.
That's right. That's
We
right.
need to stand in the gaps for her. So if you don't have those type of friends, then it's just like, I don't know, maybe you just a collector. You just like anybody and everybody you see is like, yeah, you can be a part of my circle. I'm not that type.
Right.
Like I've become very particular over the years. Like I know mama's, daddy's names.
Oh my
like,
God, you got a
I'm
whole.
like, no.
So moving into your next relationship, what are some of the things you learned from this past relationship?
I knew you were gonna ask me that question.
What are some of the things that you learned from this past relationship, even if it's some things you did that you weren't supposed to do too? Okay, Mr. I've never cheated on a person.
Right. Yeah.
What would you take in this new relationship and why?
I would be careful about feedback because not often is the feedback we give the person that we love considered good advice. Sometimes it's critique. And ultimately, some people can feel like they don't want to be criticized, right? Because sometimes it can feel like you're judging them. So I think what I learned is to hold my tongue about something that I see that doesn't sit well with me and really go to God and pray about it. And if I could, you know, have a transparent moment with them, you know, and let them know, like, she had a lot more insecurities. And I would always be the voice of reason, you know, to like calm her down. And it's like, yo, I'm here. You know, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I didn't say forever to just use those words. And I would see me comforting her more than her comforting me. And like what she did was, it was kind of like backlash. Or because there were moments that I might have criticized, or it was something that we talked about. You know, it's like you pillow talk and you say things in private, or I brought it up in a conversation where maybe, you know, this is the reason. And it was just like, oh, well, now I feel like you're judging me. You know what I'm saying? Because you're using something I told you. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then it was just like, she would do it. Then I would be like, my hands is up. Like, I was never doing it to criticize. You said I give great advice. So I was trying to give you great advice. Now that advice is too critical for you. You know, so one thing that I learned is there's a difference between motivating someone and empowering them. Right?
What's
like
the difference between
motivation, like motivation is fleeting. But empowering is something that's permanent. Like when you empower somebody, it lasts a lot longer than motivation.
If they're open to receive it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got to be open to receive that.
And at this current moment, I mean, she's doing her best to kind of like rekindle things. But and I'm just,
will you ever go
I
back?
haven't. I don't spin blocks. I don't make you turn. So it's kind of hard because I don't double back. Like once
Did
I
you love
leave,
her?
absolutely. But you know, that guy, you know, said he told
No,
he
you ain't gonna throw the
Lot's,
word of
he
God
told
in.
Lot's wife, don't turn
Don't put
around,
God in it.
or I'm gonna turn you to a pillar of salt.
Don't you put God in it.
I ain't trying to get turned to no pillar of salt. I'm like, I ain't going back there.
But you,
God said, don't look back.
I don't blame you on that. You know, just saying, why can't we be friends?
I'm cool. She want to be friends, and I'm like, no, I'm cool. I don't want. I got my friend.
You see, you don't want to be the friend.
I got my friend. I'm cool. I was like, we wasn't even friends when we started. Why we got to be friends now? Yeah, I'm cool.
Whoa.
I'm cool.
Look at that heart. Broken. That dang.
That's
great. But that's wait, let me say this, okay? Because I'm a woman. I take my glass. That's cold.
You think that's cold?
Yes, it's true. But that's cold.
See, I won't even go. We'll go to the background of what she did.
Wait. Okay, right. But dang,
that's not cold. That's
my glass is cracked in 1,000 pieces. You see that?
That's not cold.
But it's facts. You know why you want to be my friend now, and you weren't even my friend
to begin with.
And I want to talk about. Okay.
So some women, you know, I remember I was on this podcast like a year ago, and I told women that, and some of the women were kind of like rubbed the wrong way when I told them. I said, you guys have a lot of high expectations of men, and sometimes it's not realistic. Sometimes you don't get a best friend in the guy that you choose. Sometimes your best friend is just Sarah. Sometimes your best friend is just Kiki. Sometimes you don't get a best friend and a lover. Some relationships are like that, but not all the time. And that's unrealistic to go around expecting every man that you're with to be your friend. Like sometimes you just get a partner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like sometimes you just get somebody that want to pay the bills, take care of you, love you when they want to, and they don't want to be your friend.
Look, get out of my business right now, okay? Because I said I'm not talking about this one right now, okay? Don't do that.
Right.
Don't roll up in minds right now.
But
Back
that's
up.
the reality.
I feel you.
Like,
I hear you.
I've had women, you know, like really lead with friendship, and we become friends. And I tell them, you want to be my friend? I'm gonna leave you there. You're gonna stay there if you want to be my friend. And sometimes the women that lead with romance are the ones I'm more likely to date, you know, because they're letting me know what they want. No hidden agenda.
So I got a question. Okay,
so ulterior motives don't work with me. Like lead if you want to be a friend, lead with that. If you want to be more, start with that, and we good.
You know what? You are a powwow. Let me say that. You know, if people had the nuggets that you've mentioned on this show, like you need to write a book. You need to put like nuggets before you go in.
That's in the process.
Next chapter, that's gonna be the hood stuff, and define the hood proverbs, and then break them into subcategories.
Right.
Talking about, okay, this is what they say, but if you want to walk in your realness and your healness,
really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am, but the book is for men, so it's called From Man to Manifestation. So it's about all of those particular experience in love, out of love, breakups, makeups, all that, to give them information. So I give them some of my most powerful quotes. Some of the most powerful.
And you have
yeah.
You know, that's what I love about you. I told you, you like an old soul. Yeah. You know, old soul. That's why I love you.
I told you the one the other day.
Oh my God.
Did you tell me that before? And I was like, yeah. So the quote was, make your anger so expensive nobody can afford it, and your happiness so free. I mean, so cheap everybody think it's free.
Say it again. Slow down. slow down and look at the camera when you say it. So let me see which way. Look that way.
Look this way.
Yeah, and I say it.
Make your anger so expensive no one can afford it, and make your happiness so cheap everybody think it's free. So I said that because I'm an Aries. So and so knowing that I'm an Aries, my temperament, right? So I can be very, very impulsive. This was more so younger me than older me. But when I was young, hold on to that,
because I was going to ask you, what would you tell the younger version who had his first date? What would you tell him? But go ahead. Don't forget
that. That's a great question too.
That was the last one I was going to ask you. Yeah.
When I was young, man, I just jump off. If I felt like fighting, you get stole off of, like when I was a kid. So now that I'm this calm and this reserve, people that know me are kind of like, they ain't the TJ I know. You know, but people that don't, they be like, seem like you ever get angry or you ever get mad. And I said I had to sit with myself, my demons, and I had to go through a lot to know, you know, it's just like to even be this transformation in front of you. I had to really sit in silence, you know, and time to do that to you. Time alone to do that to you.
That's what I'm doing right now. I really and truly, I just got through this.
But people don't understand how the word listen and silent are synonymous, right? It's called an anagram. If you flip that word around, it's the same thing. Those are the same letters. Silent and listen is the same thing. So now when I have conversations with people and I listen to them, are you there? I'm like, I'm listening. They're like, you're not saying nothing though. I was like, I'm listening. Like I need to say something to listen, to give you the feedback. No, you sound distracted. I'm like, no, I'm really listening. You really have my undivided attention. I hear you. I'm listening.
Right.
You know, so I tell people, I said, and I tell them that, and I give them the breakdown of why I listen in silent. They're like, oh, that's dope. I was like, FaceTime me to see if I'm really listening to you, you know, so you know. But absolutely, that's one of the things that I had to learn. You know, it's like to not just listen to others, but listen to myself, right? Because I think it's called metacognition. So it's the ability to listen to your own thoughts. So it's like I just take the time out to listen to myself, because we process over probably 40,000 thoughts a day. So
with that tool, that's a powerful tool in your next relationship, because, you know, and I don't mean no harm when I say this, men, but a lot of you all don't listen to women.
I do.
That's one of
I think I listen a little too much.
But no, let me you're unique. Okay.
I hear that.
Because a lot of men, they hear you, but they're not listening. Because sometimes they say we nag too much. We yeah. But really, truly listening to a woman that you vested your time with is important. Because one thing about us, especially at this age, at my season age, we're not going to send you off on we're going to let you know exactly what I know. So going back to that movie that you mentioned, she told Martin Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
She was very specific.
Yes,
she opened up. First of all, she opened up. This is the problem. This is where this breakness comes.
Yeah.
Some women can't take that heart and put it
who else scared me though?
Who?
Lorena Bobbitt. As a kid, I was like, I'm cool. No, I am not.
but serious. That tool that you're talking about right now, if every man out there can use that tool to just listen and not just listen to judge.
Listen to understand.
To understand.
Yeah. One thing I learned is that women don't always want solutions for what they're telling you. Like whatever their problem or their issue is, they don't always want a solution. They just want to be heard. They just want you to listen to what they, it's like,
and they want you to respond to it. And I like
what when she asks though, sometimes they don't ask.
Right.
So it's just like you allow that person the same way you would ask your child. It's like, hey, how's your day going? And it's like, it's going good. I had this happen and that, like your kid would just unravel, right? Just certain questions. You have the ability to just unlift the veil. It's like when you listen sincerely and when you listen with the intent to hear that person and where they're coming from. Like, I don't want to provide a solution until you ask me.
Right.
What do you think I should do?
Right.
It's like, and then when you say, what do I think you should do? It's just like, okay, do you really want my honest opinion? Because I'm asking a question for a question. Do you really want my perspective? Right. Yeah, I want your perspective. Okay, then I'll give it to you. But one thing I learned is not to give unsolicited advice. A lot of times we just want to tell people how we feel without asking them.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you just seen the movie Sinners.
Right.
Like that vampire before they needed access.
I didn't see that, but I heard about it.
But I mean, that's common amongst vampire movies.
I don't look
They have to ask for an invitation. You have to tell them yes before they can enter.
Right.
They can't just walk that threshold and cross that threshold of your door. They say, can I come in? If you say, yeah, sure, then you invited in.
So I'm going to invite you somewhere. Okay. What would you tell that little young boy who did cheat probably because you wasn't where you were? What would you tell the young Tjay Harper with his first girlfriend?
I would give him 3 nuggets. I would tell him a lot.
3 nuggets, because we got to wrap it up. 3 nuggets.
Cool. 3. Number 1 would be you're free to make any choice you want to in life, but you are not free from the consequences.
Because there is consequences and repercussions.
There's consequences. Like you,
good,
I
bad, and different.
I always tell young men, I say, you go out here, you pull any trigger you want, but it's just like you're not free from the consequences.
In relationships,
in relationships, cheating, everything. You're not free from the consequences. I don't care what you want to do. That man can take advantage of that woman, but he's not free from the consequences.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You're free to make that choice.
JB Slick.
Yeah.
You can cheat.
You're not free from the,
but you're not gonna be free from the consequences. That's right. What it say?
Karma.
That's right.
Karma. I believe in karma and dharma. So yeah, you are free to make any choice in life, but you're not free from the consequences. Number 2 would be, and this is hard for me because I had to go through this to like really experience it. Instead of dating 100 women one time, I would have dated one woman 100 times.
Ooh, that's. I don't even think people got that.
I spent so much of my time trying to find things in different women, and I neglected the one that was initially for me, that seen everything I needed at that time. So which led me to go through this stage of, well, I'm gonna just date and I'm gonna just see what's out here. And lastly, experience is the greatest teacher. Like, and what's even the greatest teacher is to learn from other people's experiences. So for me, I become wise through listening to other people's experiences. Like another one of my favorite quotes is, why sit around elders? Because they say when an African proverb, when an elder dies, a library burns. So much information and wisdom is leaving this earth So I sit around and I'm tutelage. I'm soaking up game. And I've been that way since I was a kid. When all my uncles, aunties, and parents and grandparents, they would have them conversations, you know, the porch, the barbecues, and I'll be that kid just right there like this.
Wow.
Listening to everything, picking up everything.
And I can tell. Well, kudos to you, Tjay.
Thank you.
You know what you got to do, right? You got to get ready to perform. Tjay
Absolutely.
Harper is performing on Venita Queen Abrams podcast. Yes. Healing is Freedom. I hope and I hope and I hope and I pray that you guys grabbed on some of these nuggets that this young man, I ain't gonna call him young because he act like he about 100 years old. I wanted to get my journal out and start writing up some things he had made mention to. But I want you guys to really and truly sit back and think about relationships. The relationship, what are you doing in your relationship? What role are you playing, male and female? Are you listening? Some of the things he talked about. Are you communicating effectively and efficiently? If you're hurting about something in your past relationships, learn how to get over. Go see a therapist. Get a community. Do some arts. I'm gonna ask him real quick that this song that he's about to sing, was it birthed from a broken relationship?
It was a combination.
Okay.
So, but it's also an edict for healing. So it was for so many women that I know that I sat back and listened to, especially mothers, right? I sat back and listened to them go through so much of their relationships and have to carry the weight and the burdens of, you know, children or child that they didn't create just by themselves.
Exactly.
But they were carrying so much. So self-love it was so many experiences. It was my mom's, it was yours, it was my sister's, it was somebody I dated. So it was like so many experiences just combined. And it's just like, I wanted to let you know, like, in a way, it's like, well, I love y'all. Like, but this is the keys and the tools that you need, you know, to be.
You know, I'm not gonna cry right now, but Tjay, you did something that on Mother's Day, Tjay got away. He'll call me. He might send a text. Last Mother's Day, he wrote me a letter and he texted to me, and then he called and read it to me. This year, he called me and told me about how I've empowered him. How I'm like, I asked you to please write that down because I still got your letter. And I needed to hear that. I won't go into why. We already know why. But I do a lot for so many people all the time. And to know that you're valued and appreciated, and know that you that it didn't fall on deaf ears, and you say, I hear you, I heard you, and I thank you. It meant a lot. It just meant a whole lot. And so he does this thing. So what you see today, you guys, trust me, this is not just a makeup he's done. This is his life. That's why I tell you, healing is not just the destination and also a journey.
Right.
It's a lifestyle.
You got to tell them how our quotes are kind of the same.
Go ahead.
So I say healing is a journey, not a destination. And you say
healing is not a destination. It's not just a destination. It's a lifestyle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like the same, but just worded differently. Yeah. Absolutely.
I appreciate you. I know we're gonna take you on out. I wanted to read this poem, but I think I'm gonna let us leave out with this inspiration, this song, because we said a lot today. I thank everyone who have actually joined us today. I know it's been lengthy, but it's been empowering. Share this podcast. Tell a friend about it. I mean, actually,
tell a friend and tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tjay Harper can be, all you got to do is Google him. He's everywhere. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. He's on YouTube. If you reach out to me, I'll send you his way. He sells t-shirts. He's empowering. I hope to see him one day grab a group of young men and just start pouring into them. They need men like you in relationships. I know we talked about relationships in with girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, or whatever, but we talking about all type of relationships between your children, relationships between your parents and children. We're talking about all types of relationships right now. Don't let it break you. Let it make you stronger. Understand that it's okay to be vulnerable, but it's even better to know that God can cover you in every choice you make. So with nothing else further to say, thank you so very much for tuning in to Healing This Power, Healing This Freedom. And we're going to allow this genius here, Tjay Harper, to take us out with his song he wrote and composed himself. Self-love.
Self-love.
Self-love, you guys. See you next week. Go ahead, Tjay.
Thank you.
Tjay Harper, Tjay Harper.
Can we set this on something?
Huh?
Can we set this on something? Can we set this or bring this closer?
What do you need?
This table. Can we bring this closer?
Okay.
Set this in?
Well, we live.
Oh.
We live. So while he's getting it together, I'm gonna give you a piece of my poem while they set him up. So this poem was inspired, you guys, while we getting him together.
It's just thunder outside. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. That's the thunder. That's the thunder. I've danced in dresses, stitches with hope. Twice I walked down the aisle, wrapped in vows. Both times, love wore a mask. I knew his name, but not his intentions. I'm gonna stop right there, you guys, because it's emotional, and I want to leave on a positive, high-spirited.
Well, get emotional with him.
You ain't get emotional. You ready though, right?
Yeah, we ready. I mean, we ready.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I hope y'all doing well out there. Yeah, you the epitome of self-love. Working on yourself, showing self-care. Nobody helped when you was there. You picked yourself up. Grew up, you had tough love. And they say pressure make diamonds. You really a thug, you just disguise it. Hard to place the needle on a thread and define it. Can't let these hate get you out of alignment. Meditate. Cleanse your crystals. Brown skin looks so good, I want to kiss you. Send you gifts because I miss you. Fly you around the country just for giggles. Make that thing whistle while you twerk or jiggle. #1 supporter, courtside Jack Nicholson. Then I'll pick you up and never let you down. Get you bling like the Neptune sound. Baby girl, it's time to focus on yourself. Working hard, you always taking care of everybody else, but you just need some self-love. It's okay to say you need some help. Baby girl, put that pride up on the shelf. Self-love. You the reason that them kids good. You the reason they ain't going up off canned goods. You the reason that your credit good. Nice crib in the birds, though you from the hood. Yeah, and you be making sure your man good. He don't do the same and it make you feel used. Remind you of them days when you once was abused. But yo, you a good woman. But if you don't value yourself, what's good, woman? You know your worth is more than accomplishments. I know you don't do this for no acknowledgement. You do this from your heart. You honor it. It's hard work. Just be confident. I know you humble. But you gotta trust the process even when it's slow. Slow motion, baby. You just gotta know that I got you. That is real men out here that's gonna hold you down. I'm gonna hold you down. Sometimes you gotta put yourself first. That's what self-love is. Self-love.
Woo! That's right, baby. That's right, baby. I'm gonna show myself self-love, baby. Thank you so much, Tjay Harper.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you all for coming, showing, staying, relaxing, crying, writing some nuggets down. Until next week, healing is not just a destination. And journey is the lifestyle. Have a great day.
You did great. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. That was awesome.
We still